I do not believe Panama is in control of the Panama Canal. Unfortunately, in 1999, the United States transferred oversight of the canal back to Panama. Now, this is something that was started back in 1979 by then President Jimmy Carter, who has recently graduated from the second worst president in modern American history to now the third worst president in modern American history. And I understand that President Carter has just passed away. And I also understand that it's a sad time when any president passes away and we lose part of our history. But again, this is a president that literally did nothing to help America. And in the case of the Panama Canal, even though it's praised by the criminal media, it's one of the worst things that he could have done. From 1977 all the way, they had 20 years to get this transition in place. So from 1977 to 1997, this was done. And then finally, on December 31st of 1999, they transitioned power completely over and oversight completely over to the Panamanians. Now comes the CCP. In 1997, when the treaty was enacted, the CCP started moving in. And they did this before we get to that, let's talk about the other treaty that was also signed in 1977. This was called the Permanent Neutrality Treaty. Now, along with this, what they referred to as the Torrijos-Carter Treaty that turned oversight of the canal over to the Panamanians. This Permanent Neutrality Treaty, which was also signed in 1977, this treaty stipulates that the United States may use military force to protect the Panama Canal from any threat to its neutrality. Now, any threat to its neutrality seems pretty basic to me and pretty blunt. There's no wiggle room. And this is where things start to get interesting. Lately, President Trump, as just a few days ago, President Trump tweeted on Truth that if Panama could not guarantee secure, efficient, and reliable operation, that the U.S. would take back the Panama Canal. Now, it seems to me that this permanent neutrality treaty allows for that, but herein lies the problem, right? Panamanian President Jose Raul Mulino, in his best yapping collared puppy voice, stated that the canal is not controlled by China, Europe, the U.S., or any other country. Now, while that may technically be true, that the canal itself, access to the canal is a completely different story. And we know this. We have a response from Trump, and we know that by this yapping puppy that he's probably worried about his gold-filled pockets, and we've talked about BGY, and in this case, it's his gold-filled pockets. He's afraid that they'll soon be empty. Now, Trump's response to this yapping puppy is, we'll see about that, which I thought was fantastic. So Marco Rubio, who is Trump's nominee for Secretary of State and longtime senator from Florida, went down to Panama, and he came back very, very concerned about the influence of the CCP over the canal. In a 2022 X post by Rubio, he stated that the canal is an important transit route to intercept illicit activities, yet the canal is surrounded by CCP enterprises. We must continue to make clear that Panama is an important partner and warn against CCP attempts to establish a foothold in our region.